Hello and welcome to our weekly feature, Opm Now, where we keep you up to date on the Prime Minister's weekly activities. I'm Naomi Francis. This week on Opm Now, Prime Minister announces a state of public emergency in 2 police divisions, special protocols for non-nationals who are not business travelers or tourists. Prime Minister grieves the killing of 2 policemen by criminals in St. Catherine, and gyms, zoos and parks reopened under strict COVID-19 guidelines. These and more stories now. Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced on Sunday, June 14, the declaration of a state of public emergency in the 2 police divisions of Kingston Central and Kingston Western. He said the security forces made the recommendation as the space declared has seen increased criminal activity in the second quarter of this year. The SOE in the 2 divisions will run for 14 days in the first instance.
These areas, if left unchecked, have shown historically that they can spiral to chaotic ends, even having national disruptive impact. We are also observing that the gangs in these areas are not confining themselves to traditional geographical boundaries within community locations, operations, and affiliations. This presents the possibility of super gangs emerging through collaboration, and this creates a platform for the insemination of more nefarious and foreign criminal activity.
The country continues to record reduced levels of COVID-19. Up to Monday, June 15, there are 187 active cases of COVID-19 in Jamaica, meaning at present 187 persons have the virus, with 2 persons critically ill. Of the 16,492 tests that have been done in Jamaica, the country has recorded 617 positive cases, with 420 recoveries and 10 deaths. All persons seeking to come to Jamaica are now able to register as part of the controlled entry program. Jamaican nationals as well as non-nationals who live here due to marriage, work permits, and/or being a dependent should use the COVID-19 website or app. For those persons who live overseas and are visiting Jamaica for business or pleasure, they are required to use the Visit Jamaica website. This also applies to Jamaican passport holders visiting the island. They must complete the registration and pre-screening process and await approval from the authorities. And Prime Minister Holness has emphasized that all non-nationals visiting Jamaica for business purposes for fewer than 14 days are required to be tested. This is part of the controlled entry program, which comes into effect from June 15 to 30.
Non-national tourists will be subject to testing if they are assessed as high risk, either as a result of coming from countries designated as high risk for COVID-19 transmission based on classifications by the World Health Organization, or due to other risk factors such as exhibiting symptoms, exposure to persons, or coming from a high-risk group. Persons assessed as high risk would have their samples taken at the airport or other designated facility and await their test results at their hotel or resort under the stay-in-zone measure. If the test is negative, they would remain under the stay-in-zone measure. If the test is positive, however, they would be isolated, either at the hotel resort or in a government facility.
In addition to the reopening of beaches and rivers announced last week, parks, zoos, and river rafting were reopened over the weekend under strict COVID-19 protocols. It will last for 2 weeks in the first instance. A moment of silence was observed during the COVID-19 media briefing on Friday, June 12, for the 2 policemen who were killed while conducting an operation in Horizon Park, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Prime Minister Holness said the killing of a police officer while on lawful duty is considered an attack against the state. The Prime Minister offered his deep condolences to the families and colleagues of Police Corporal Dane Biggs and Constable Ricardo Hilton, who died. 2 other policemen were seriously injured in the incident.
My heart goes out to their families, and my thoughts and prayers are with them. The entire Jamaica grieves with you. We will ensure that they get full support.
In Parliament last week, the Prime Minister paid tribute to the late Honourable Shahini Robinson, Minister of Labour and Social Security, and former Cabinet Minister in the 1980s, Dr. Neville Gallimore. Both died in May after periods of illness. Mrs. Robinson will be accorded an official funeral. A period of mourning is being observed from June 10 to June 16. Her body was viewed in her northeast St. Anne constituency last week and is expected to come to Kingston for persons to pay their respects on Tuesday, June 16. In keeping with the government's push to promote Eat Jamaican and support local farmers and showcasing the benefits of moving toward a digital economy, Prime Minister Holness visited the first cashless farmers market, which was held at the Hope Gardens on June 5.
Much of our agricultural output goes towards supplying the tourism industry. We tend to underestimate the linkage between the tourism industry and the local economy. My own view is that it can be much stronger. It can be a much stronger linkage. But what this disruption has shown is just how much of a link there is. Everything is connected, and there are no easy choices to make. One thing we are certain of is that we have to save lives and livelihoods.
Last week, Prime Minister Holness convened the regular cabinet meeting along with the COVID-19 subcommittee meeting. He held his usual monthly meeting with His Excellency the Governor-General, Sir Patrick Allen, virtually. The Prime Minister also received a courtesy call from the newly appointed Executive Director of the Integrity Commission, Mr. Greg Christie. And we end with some breathtaking images from Jamaica's coastline as Jamaica joined the rest of the world in observing World Oceans Day under the theme Innovation for a Sustainable Ocean. Prime Minister Holness said the theme was relevant in the lead-up to the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, which will run from 2021 to 2030. He said the event will strengthen international cooperation to develop the scientific research and innovative technologies that can connect ocean science with the needs of society. And that's it for Opm Now. Join us again next week as we recap the activities of the Prime Minister. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to Andrew Michael Holness /JM on YouTube. Follow at Andrew Holness JM on all socials and visit opm.gov.jm for more information.